Hi, my name is Abhishek Shah, and I'm the co-founder and group CEO at RSA Global. We are an end-to-end supply chain organization with a focus on technology. We operate in 4 different regions with about 600 people around the world. When you're thinking about an organization, culture is really at the heart of that. It's something I'm personally passionate about, and I've grown to learn and appreciate why that's so important through an organization. So when we started our company, it was me and 3 other people trying to build an organization. And not much happened in our first 2 to 3 years, primarily because of the global financial crisis and the state Dubai was in. But from year 4 onwards, we went from literally, I think, 13 people to about 120 people as an organization due to business that we had acquired. And that really taught me an important lesson of what basically it meant to communicate well and communicate the behavior you want, which is basically what culture really is. And then from then on, we've brought on different partnerships, as we've spoken about. And today we're just under 600 people, 24 nationalities across these 4 different regions, trying to serve our customers. So my definition of what is a great culture is just when anybody has a business dilemma or a personal issue on how to deal with somebody at work, their default activity would be to respond and go to the values of the organization and refer to the purpose, and that would help them guide them into what sort of would be the right decision from there. And if every member in your organization can do that, you know you're all pointing in the right direction, aiming towards the same goal. And I realize that as a leader, my job is to consistently communicate this on a daily basis as much as I can. You can never over-communicate this enough. And that's how you end up building a good communication strategy, and people understand what that really, really means. You, as a leader, and your first line have to be 100% aligned and be the culture monkeys or the culture promoters in the organization. When scaling internationally, culture is really hard to preserve, and there's a variety of issues that you may face. If you did an acquisition, there's already a culture that is inherent in the acquired company, and that is very hard to basically change, and that's something that you could even do in the due diligence process to make sure the culture actually fits from before. But when you are in that position, it's very important to understand the dynamics of what changes that. You also have to be in the ability as an organization to locally adapt to what cultural requirements are in that organization, in that country, in that culture, that will affect what you want as your organization culture going forward. And I think the control measures you can put in that is constantly having a swap of talent going back and forth that will help you understand what is the problem there and what you could embed into that organization that will help build and try to create a harmonious culture across your entire organization. So very important to be able to scale your culture is making sure that your executive team is 100% aligned to the culture of the organization. All of you need to be rowing in exactly the same direction for anything to really work. Because if that doesn't happen, you'll have offshoots that will basically have different challenges and you'll have to rein them back in, which is wasting time, and you may find people are not the right fit for your organization. So when we look at hiring and firing, as hard as it sounds, you hire extremely slowly, even at the time of exponential growth, or you have a very robust process which takes care of culture within that. So one of the things we do in our recruitment process is that we have a culture round. And a culture round means that we take our high-performing culture people from the organization from all different levels, doesn't matter which one, and they're put into a room with a new candidate who has no idea what they do in the organization, but it's all about behavior and culture and how they react to certain situations. And if any of them put a veto out, that person doesn't get hired, even though they've gone through the technical test going forward. And when it comes to anybody that actually compromises anything on the values, that could be a poison that basically may spread, it's your responsibility as a leader to make sure you cut that out as soon as possible. It's very, very tough, especially when you're a small organization, because dependency is high on individuals, but it's a stand that hopefully should, once taken, provide benefit to the organization. So one tool that we use to try and make sure that we rate everybody to understand how they are performing is that it's a subjective rating, but it gives everybody a baseline. We have our core values in the company. We've defined as an organization what behaviors we want those core values to drive, and we rate everybody out of 10. And in our rating, 7 out of 10 is that you're doing 100%, you're doing what is asked of you. 8, 9, 10 is going above and beyond and being an actual promoter of that culture. That's what we want. We want people to actually go out and take one experience and share it with 3 others. That helps us scale our culture even faster. So that helps us basically understand how many A-player of cultures we have in the organization and where we need to help and give improvement, education, or who's just not fitting and we need to figure out whether they're in the wrong job or they're not in the right company. To summarize, when it comes to culture, I think there are 3 key takeaways. One is you as a leader have to consistently over-communicate what your culture is, why it's important, and how it's going to help you get there. Two, have your top team aligned right the way through the process and make sure that they are your culture promoters, or I like to call them the culture monkeys. And third is that make sure culture is integrated into your hiring process to make sure whoever's coming through that door has the culture intact, understands the value of it, and how they can contribute to make it better.